Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We are talking about abundance today because this word is thrown out a lot. So I actually want to define it. Let's get clear on what it actually means. And then let's demystify or decondition ourselves around what we think abundance means, what we've been taught to think we need to do and spend and experience in order to feel abundance thoughts that can be getting in the way of experiencing actual abundance in your reality. We're going to go through all of that today. Okay? How to embody abundance, truly, in your physical being, because if you're listening to this, you are a smart human being that has a big heart, right? That is the entirety of my audience. And so if you are here, I would be willing to bet money on it that your brain gets in the way of you actually being able to embody certain things or feel certain things. So what I mean by that is, you're probably aware that your thoughts create your reality, right? The things you think are the things you focus on and the things that then you experience, right? If we're going way big picture of what thoughts and mindset work actually does. That's the purpose of it. But with thought work and with mindset work, if you're a smart person, right? If your brain is working on overdrive all the time, if you're someone who experiences anxiety, if you've got ADHD, our brain's firing on all cylinders all the time, what happens is your brain gets smarter than the mindset work. And so your brain knows the abundance thoughts it needs to think. It can catch itself in a thought spiral that doesn't serve you. And you can solve the equation of the mindset problem. You can get clear on what you know is not serving you. Decide what would serve you, but then none of that actually drops into your body. It's all staying in your brain and in your head, right? So you're solving mindset equations in your brain, but then nothing is actually feeling real in your body. You can decide the list of affirmations and mantras, your cashed up manifesto that makes you feel really abundant when you read it, but then it doesn't actually stay with you in your body moving throughout your day. It doesn't stay with you when you have to pay a utility bill that was higher than normal. It doesn't stay with you when you're going to check in on the debt payoff that you're in the process of and you see the credit card balance. It doesn't stay with you when your insurance decides not to cover some specific procedure that now you have to pull from your savings to be able to pay for, right? Your abundance stays in your brain and is not in your actual body. So what we're going to talk about today is how to just think about abundance in general, but then how to drop it in, how to not only solve the abundance math equation in your mindset, but then also make it feel real to you. Okay. And if you haven't watched my 10-day money affirmation series, this is on Instagram. They're all posted and it's labeled day 1, money affirmations that actually work. Day 2, money affirmations that actually work. If you haven't watched through each of those videos, they're between 30 and 45 minutes each, where we just do deep dives into one affirmation each day and we dissect it. And the point of this series was to take affirmations and platitudes and these pretty Pinterest graphics about abundance and having a great relationship with money and make them actually drop into your body. So if you haven't watched that series yet, go watch it, put it on your to-do list for this week to do one each day. You could even do one a week for the next 10 weeks. You can go that deep with them, but that's going to help you a lot with dropping some of this airy-fairy Pinterest abundance into real life. My bank accounts are growing. I feel abundant in my body. I know that I'm meant for more, that kind of energy. Okay. The definition of abundance is a very large quantity of something. Okay, so financial abundance is a very large quantity of money. But what I want to note here is that it doesn't say where or what kind of money, right? So financial abundance is about having a large quantity of money to spend in your savings account, in your investment account, to be able to give, to be able to utilize. Like, there's so many different ways that you can talk about money and abundance. So what I see happen a lot is in the energy of financial abundance, I hear a lot of times it getting so focused on the spending aspect and the making aspect. So bringing in more money to spend all of that money. Okay, bringing in a lot more money, and then you have more money to spend, which is true. When you make more money, you do have more money to spend, but money skills are much broader than that. And there's a lot of other areas where you could have large quantities of money that aren't being focused on or talked about when it comes to feeling into the energy of abundance. A lot of meditations about financial abundance, I've noticed, are about what it feels like to receive large quantities of money and what it feels like to spend on anything you want. What these abundance meditations are not usually focused on is holding on to money, watching money grow in your bank accounts, right? Having the money skills in order to maintain your abundance, using the abundance that's coming in to create more abundance by holding on to it and investing it and growing it that way, right? And of course, those might not make for the best meditations, but why I'm saying this is because I want us to focus on all of the money skills when we're thinking about abundance. Now, if you've been around for a while, you've heard me talk about abundance girly energy. Abundance girly energy is the abundant mindset that is like, spend money like you have it, and the universe will take care of it, right? So you're just gonna spend however you want, spend like you have all the money in the world, and the universe will come in and support you and give you the money you need to be able to pay back those things or to be able to refill the bank accounts. I'm gonna come back to that in a second. The other abundance girly thing here, a hallmark of an abundance girly, is closing your eyes, putting your head in the sand, and saying, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm abundant. As long as I don't actually look at the numbers in my bank account, I am abundant. And you can feel abundant and feel like you are meant for more, you have more is coming to you. But the moment you look at the bank account, the moment you look at the bank statement, the moment you look at the credit card statement, that abundance energy goes out the window, right? You are right back into your scarcity mindset. Abundance isn't real unless you can look at your reality and still feel it. So this is one of the biggest myths about an abundance mindset. Abundance isn't about ignoring reality to decide what the reality you want is. Abundance is looking at your current reality and deciding the thoughts you want to have about your specific reality. So for example, let's say you have $100 in savings. Someone might look at $100 in their savings account and say, my savings are so low. What if something happens? I'm fucked. I'm broke. I should be farther along by now. I have a friend who has $20,000 in their savings. Why am I not more like them? You could have those thoughts about the $100 in your bank account. Or you could choose to have different thoughts, like, I am so excited that I have $100 in my bank account. I remember a time where I couldn't even keep $5 in my savings account. $100 is a lot of money. Here's all of the things I could utilize this $100 for if something came up. I am so excited to watch this $100 grow because the money skills I used to put $100 in the savings account are the same money skills that are going to get $1,000 in the savings account and $10,000 in the savings account to $100,000 in my savings account, which I will then invest because I don't want to have $100,000 just in a savings account, right? You can have those thoughts. And then those thoughts might lead you to think, what needs to happen for me to be able to have $1,000 in my bank account? So this excited energy of possibility around the reality of what's in your bank account leads you to ask the question, what needs to happen? What can I do? Which will then lead to, right, follow the trail, write an action list, write what's keeping you from having $1,000 in your bank account. Next week, I'm going to go through, the podcast is about diagnosing your biggest money problem. And one of the things that you can put in your action list is diagnosing your biggest money problem and to focus on solving that one money problem instead of trying to spread yourself thin and solve a million different money problems all at one time, right? So it's going to create action for you to take, right? Or mindset blocks that come up, right? As you are creating an action list, let's say one of the money problems you're having is fuck it blackout spending, right? When the world feels hard, you have a really bad day. I mean, like, the world feels hard for all of us right now, but if you are having a particularly bad day, or you had a bad day at work, or something happens and you feel the need to black out and numb out or emotionally spend, right? And that's when the overspending always happens. Great. Now that's the action, the problem that you want to be solving, but that might come up. That might bring up a lot of mindset stuff of like, why do I feel the need to numb? What other ways can I cope? Right? Am I afraid to not have this specific coping mechanism? What am I afraid will happen if I eliminate emotional and blackout spending from my life? I'm afraid I won't be able to do it because I've never been able to do it in the past. So then now you have mindset work to do. You have specific thoughts and narratives and beliefs about yourself and what's possible for you around a specific thing that you've diagnosed as a money problem that then you can do some deep mind work on. So that then tactically you can have more money in the bank account. Okay? So this is where your abundant thoughts about the reality of what's going on in your bank account is going to lead to fully embodied abundance. This is not surface level work. Real embodied abundance is deep fucking excavating the fucking caves in the depths of your soul and your gut. That's abundance work. That is embodied abundance work. Because all of us can print out a list of affirmations on Pinterest, go into our mirror and recite them to ourselves. Does that actually make change? No. But when you figure out why you always turn to emotional spending when you've had a really anxious day, and you realize that the world we live in are probably going to create more of those anxious days, and you do not desire to have the financial reality that you currently have moving into this new world that we're moving into, and you have to do work on that, then that's the shit that actually changes things. That's the shit that actually shows you more money in your bank account, okay? So when we're talking about abundance energy, it's gonna feel messy and it's gonna feel deep. It's not cute and frilly. It's not aesthetic, right? It's not always fun to face. It doesn't always feel good to do the excavation that real abundance requires. But then on the other side of it, you actually see the $1,000 in your bank account. You see the $10,000 in your bank account. You actually see the reality that then can back up your abundance mindset. Then it's so much easier because you're like, I'm abundant because I got $10,000 in my bank account, and you can actually see the $10,000 in your bank account. What a lot of people do is they don't look at the $100 in their bank account. They close their eyes and they're like, I have $10,000 in savings. I have $10,000 in savings. I'm so financially abundant. I can buy whatever. I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. And then what happens is they spend like they have $10,000 in the bank account and money always coming in, which might not be the current reality. But the easiest thing that it feels like to do when cultivating an abundance mindset is to spend more like you have it, to push yourself into a corner where you need to make that money back, or you need to be able to refill your bank accounts. You like push yourself against the wall because you feel like the only way your financial reality could change is when you have no other option. I want you to sit with that for a second. If you feel like you need to put yourself in a place of struggle, or you feel so far away from the reality that you want, so you force yourself into a blackout because that's the only way you can actually fathom enjoying the financial reality you want, right? Sit with that. If those are your two options, that means the abundance energy that you're trying to cultivate isn't embodied. How much more fun would it be for you to make all the money first to then buy the things that you desire? How much fun would it be to say, I desire to go on this many vacations a year. Here's the next one I want to go on, and here's what it's going to cost. I'm going to figure out how to get that money in my bank account, or use travel rewards points via the Lazy Girl travel hacking method that Brooke Benson taught me on her podcast. Go look it up if you haven't listened to it yet. I'm going to go figure out how to make that vacation a reality for me now with my current financial standing and not put it on a credit card. I'm going to cultivate the abundance now, bring the money into my life now, and then spend it when I have it. The reason that feels harder is because the abundance isn't embodied, right? So I want you to think about, if I truly believed that I was meant for more and that I could have full financial abundance, would I be afraid of waiting for me to experience that thing if I knew it was inevitable? Right? So like, you can catch your brain on if it's doing like, haha, abundance girly energy, or if it's true, fully embodied energy. And this is also not saying that you can't ever put something on a credit card. I've definitely put things on a credit card in the past when I wanted to not put the money that was in my bank account toward that thing. Like, I was making specific business investments, right? Like, there were things I was doing, but you can make those decisions with a full-hearted yes. But overall, right, notice if there's a pattern of you doing that. I actually had a client that I was coaching this past fall that noticed this pattern where she would get a raise, but it didn't like fully come through yet. And then she went and spent like she got that raise, and then the raise didn't come through. And she was like, see, this is why like things go wrong. Like, I'm so upset that I did this. And we got to that there was a part of her that didn't believe the raise would actually come through. So she needed to go and spend like she did have that raise, because she could feel the wiggle room and the spaciousness of that new paycheck before it actually came in, because she was afraid she wouldn't actually be able to feel that when the paycheck did or didn't come in. Does that make sense? Right? So she was putting herself into a sense of urgency, because once she found out the paycheck wasn't going to come in, she wasn't going to allow herself to spend how she wanted. Okay? So do you see how there's like then an urgency there? There's not a full awareness and a full like fuck yes backing on the decision that she was making, right? And so urgency, let's talk about urgency for a second. Oh, also, so that happened to her, but then the very next month we were able to get her a month ahead on bills again. She was totally fine, but we clocked that pattern for her, right? We clocked that pattern that she was using an abundance mindset to spend before she had the money, so she could back herself into a wall that then forced her to make the money back. That was the only way she knew how to up level. So we were like, what if we put you in a less stressful up leveling situation where you could choose to up level and then you could spend without your back against the wall? So we rewired that pattern for her so she could have more, again, nervous system regulation, calm and peace in her financial life. Okay, so urgency. Urgency always comes from scarcity. There is not a single thing that is done with speed that does not come from scarcity, okay? So when we're thinking about like buying something, sales, spending money, when urgency comes in, it sounds like it will never be this low of a price again. This thing is gonna run out or sell out. I'm gonna miss out on something in my life if I don't buy this thing, right? There's like a FOMO that comes with it. Urgency, needing it now, needing to experiencing it now, need to spend on it now, all of that comes from scarcity. Because what that means is that you won't ever be able to have it again. You won't ever be able to find something that brings you just as much joy. The price will never ever go down again. Like, there is a finiteness to what you believe you will experience again, get to have again at a certain price point, and that's just categorically not true. So when we're thinking about urgency, this is where being able to feel abundant while not spending, or specifically choosing to buy something later or not buy something, this can enforce your abundance energy. Okay? Rather than, I need to prove to myself that I'm abundant by spending on this thing so that I don't feel like I'm not spending on something because I don't have the money. So that's where your brain needs to switch its narrative. So instead of, I'm going to choose not to buy this thing right now because I want to put that money into savings and I actually don't need it, and I know that I'll be able to find something later if I so desire, versus the thought that's probably going to run through your head, which is, I'm broke, I can't afford it, I'm not allowed to have that thing because I need to do the responsible things with my money, right? Like there's a very different energy of how you speak to yourself when you're choosing not to buy something or to buy something later. Okay? So I want to give you an example. It actually happened to me this week. So we're coming up on the end of the month, and how I teach my clients to manage their money, it's called the money flow method. Again, if you've been here for a while, you've heard me talk about this. The money flow method is about not budgeting and getting meticulous in the spreadsheets and the categories. It's about organizing your money in a way that separates your spending money and your auto pays and your bills and your income into 3 separate checking accounts. So all that does is it puts guardrails around your monthly spending, but you get to decide how much you want to spend every single month inside of that one account. So, for example, my monthly numbers, and I teach this inside of my program, but the numbers I'm going to tell you about are the flex and the firm numbers. So your firm numbers are your auto pays and your bills, anything that is automatically pulled from your account. Those go in one account. But then the other account, the other number is called your flex number. So your flex number is groceries, gas, entertainment, shopping, Amazon, whatever else, eating out, coffee, all of that stuff. That's in your flex spending. So for me, my flex spending every single month hovers at about $850. I'll bump it up if it's like my birthday month or I'm going on vacation. I'll bump it down if I know it's a pretty low-key month and like I'm really excited about putting money towards something else, but it hovers around $850. So at the end of the month, right, we fill up all of these accounts at the top of the month and then you utilize them throughout the duration of the month. So this is how you get 1 month ahead on bills immediately when we start working together, because we figure out your numbers and we start filling up your accounts right away. So at the top of the month, your entire month ahead of you is already paid for. The money's sitting there waiting to be used for the duration of the month. So what's so great about this is at any given moment, you could just log into your bank account, or you can switch out a bank account for a credit card in this system. I'll log into my credit card statement and I can see exactly how much I've spent from the first of the month to whenever I'm checking it. So on the 15th of the month, I can log in and see with one glance how much money I've spent so far this month. Okay. So what I did was I checked in on my credit card balance. I usually do it like every 3 to 4 days just to like see where I'm at. So I checked in on it 2 days ago, right? And I saw that I've basically hit my flex number for the month. I'm basically at it. And so there was an Amazon cart that I had filled up because, as you can see, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, so I normally have press-on nails. I really love having fun press-on nails. I change them out every 2 weeks. And I forgot that I didn't have another set of press-on nails waiting for me. And so I had a set of press-on nails in the Amazon cart. I had another tube of my dry shampoo. And then I also had some new shampoo and conditioner, some things I wanted to refill on, some like fun to have stuff. So I had this Amazon cart that I was about ready to hit pay on and hit submit, ship to me now. But I looked at my numbers and I was like, well, I've spent my flex number. And when I looked at everything in my cart, I asked myself, do I literally need this before the 1st of January or the 1st of February? And I was like, no, I actually don't. So my cart is full and I'm going to hit pay on February 1st. Okay. So I want you to notice what happened there. I was in full control of my choice, and I felt spaciousness, okay? So there was no rush, there was no panic of like, oh no, I'm running out, I have to wait, like, I can't. I told myself I could buy this right now if I needed to, but like, is a pair of press-on nails really that pressing? No pun intended. No, it's not. That can definitely wait until February. Do all of these things that I need to refill within the next week or two need to happen right now? No, it can wait until February 1st. And then this actually flexes my abundance muscle, because what it's allowing me to do is it's allowing me to look and actually assess and be like, wait, I do have plenty of shampoo and conditioner for the next week. That's amazing that I don't need to rush out and get it right now. I actually have, I'm not going to need a lot of dry shampoo for the next couple of days. So I don't need to get that right now. There's this not needing energy that actually puts you back into abundance. It's when you put yourself in the driver's seat and you tell yourself, I can buy it, but I don't need to and I don't want to right now. When you make yourself the decision maker, rather than I'm not allowed, I can't, I don't have the money for it, that makes it feel like someone else is telling you that you can't or you don't want to, or that you're not allowed to. Okay, so if you notice the sound quality has shifted, and if you're watching on YouTube, the visual has changed slightly. I have been having so much disk storage issues on my computer, so it stopped recording me, so I'm now on my phone recording. So here we go. Let's take that back. If you feel that way, if those are the words you are saying to yourself, right, of like you're not allowed to have it, you can't have it, it feels like someone else is telling you no. But when you are telling yourself no, or not right now, or we'll come back for it later, when you put yourself back in the driver's seat, that makes you feel more abundant because you are in more control. You've given yourself spaciousness. You've told yourself, I don't need this right now. There's something expansive about that specific energy. Now, what I will also say is I need to go get eggs this week. I need to go get eggs because I eat eggs every single morning and I have 1 egg left in my fridge. So I'm going to go get eggs and I'm going to get another tub of cottage cheese. Am I going to not get eggs and cottage cheese because I've hit my flex spending number? No, because I know that that's going to directly impact the kind of morning I get to have every morning, not having my staple breakfast. So I know in my abundant energy, I can spend an extra $10. Well, with the price of eggs these days, I can spend an extra $20 over my flex number because guess what? I'm an abundant bitch. Because guess what? I have so much money in my savings that I could pull from. I'm good. I am going to spend that extra money to get the things I need to have a great rest of my week. But the things I don't really need, I'm fine. Right? So do you see how it's not like a legalistic, I'm not allowed to spend any extra dollar over my flex number, but it's being judicious and conscious about when I'm choosing to spend over my flex number and on what. So another tool you can use here is what I call the want list. This is a version of buying things in your head or buying things for future you. What this means is that you're not telling yourself, no, you're not allowed to have it, you can't have it. What you're doing is you're saying, I'm coming back for you, baby. I'm going to get you later. I'm going to decide that I desire you, and I'm going to feel the deliciousness of that desire until I actually make you a reality. And then I'm going to focus on actually making you a reality by opening up a savings bucket for you inside of my high yield savings account so I can actually put the cash in the bank for you to come back for you later. Or I'm going to decide right now what the income level, what my paycheck level, what my owner's pay level would need to be for me to make this specific lifestyle upgrade on a month-to-month basis. I'm going to decide the benchmark that I need to hit in order to make you a reality. So do you see then how that's true abundance? And when you start to do these tactical things, the energy of abundance starts getting infused in your body. Because when you open up a savings account for that dream vacation, that you want to go to Europe, you want to have a girls trip, a renaissance. If you want to go to Europe with your girls and you want to not stay in hostels and you look up the price of what that's going to cost and you open up a savings bucket that says Renaissance in France and you decide the amount that you will need to have in order to pay for that thing, right? And you start putting money towards it. What that's telling your brain is, I am going to have this. I believe that I can have this. I'm watching the numbers and I'm doing all of my other money things so that I can continue to have this. You're developing your money skills to back up the actual real abundance that you're going to create for yourself. Okay? So this tactical stuff then becomes a reality for you. And you're not putting this stuff into the indefinite future. You're telling yourself exactly when you get to have it with very specific benchmarks. The other thing you can do is if these aren't things you see in like your very near horizon, you can go and decide that at some point I will have this thing. You can scroll Pinterest boards. You can look at vlogs and be like, at some point I will experience that thing, and like buy it in your head. Decide at some point that you will have it. And then once you like are notching up and up leveling in your financial journey, then those things get closer and closer. And then someday you will have a bucket for it. Someday you will be able to upgrade that into your lifestyle. Real abundance comes from rock solid money skills. I'm going to say that again. Real abundance comes from rock solid money skills. You have to know what to do with all of the money that is going to be coming in abundantly. And that's how you create more of it. And that's how you continue to bring in more of it. When you prove to yourself that you know exactly what to do with that abundance of money that is coming in, that you know you can abundantly save and abundantly invest just like you abundantly spend. And let's also define abundant spending. Abundant spending isn't saying yes to everything. Abundant spending is knowing that you could afford everything, so that means you get to decide what you want to spend money on. That's abundance. Abundance will never absolve you from making financial decisions. So make peace with that right now. I am going to say that again. Abundance will never absolve you from having to make money decisions, from having to think about your finances. Make peace with that now. I want you to sit with that. I've had a couple conversations with some clients recently, having to grieve this idea, grieve this fact that even if I have a multi-million-dollar business, with these specific two clients have multi-million-dollar businesses, and still, that did not absolve me from having to think about what I want to spend on. That didn't absolve me from having to manage my finances. No, it doesn't. Even the billionaires are having to make financial decisions. I've said this before, but we are seeing billionaires actively choose what not to do with their money that we might choose differently, right? But there are things they are actively choosing to not do with their money. There is no amount of money, money is infinite energetically, but in your bank account, it is finite in that time, which means that you do have to make decisions about it. Decisions do not equal scarcity, okay? You get to feel abundant while making financial decisions. True abundance, people who experience true abundance in the reality in the bank accounts are always making financial decisions because they know financial decisions will not create scarcity. They will not miss out. They are never in an urgent place. They know there are always going to be more of the thing they want. There will always be more experiences. Things will always go on sale again if they want them on sale. But if they truly want it, they don't need to buy it on sale because they believe in the abundance of being able to afford it at full price, right? Abundance doesn't mean you spend all of your money. It means you spend consciously on things you truly love and that will support you. The last thing I want to leave you with, I'm going to say it again. Abundance will not absolve you from having to make money decisions, so make peace with that now. Go sit with some of the things that came up for you today. If you were triggered, if things hit you, if there was a sentence I said that made you black out for the next 2 minutes while I was speaking because you were stuck on that sentence, go journal on those things. Go dive into those things. Go watch the Money Affirmation series. Go let these things create an action list for you. Go figure out what your definition of abundance is. What do you want abundance to mean for you right now? Where right now are you acting in abundance? And where are you acting in abundance girly energy? Right? Go decide in the moment. Catch yourself when you are acting in one way or the other. I love you all so much. I am sending you so much good energy, and I will talk to you next week where we're going to talk about how to diagnose your biggest money problem. See you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.